What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Talking with Beers, episode 149. And today we're doing everything March Madness. Yes, it's the wonderful time of the year, March Madness. Everything from the chaos of the 68 team playoff brackets. So today we're going to talk about everything from who our picks are, why we're picking them, players to watch out for, national champions, crazy Cinderella runs, anything you can think of March Madness, we got it covered. But for today, we got one special guest on. We got Keenan Brown back on the podcast. What's going on, Keenan?
What's good? What's good? Let's get it done.
I appreciate you being here. It's going to be an awesome episode. Are you a big March Madness guy? What's it like for you?
Uh, yeah, definitely a big March Madness guy. Huge into basketball, but I don't like the NBA. I haven't really sat down and watched the NBA game in a couple of years now, so this is all my excitement. Actually, fun fact: I did go to the Final Four games last year and the national championship last year. Those were
Wow.
both in Arizona, and they were at the Glendale, what is it, State Farm Arena in
Yeah, where
Glendale.
the
So yeah.
Cardinals play, which is I went for
hmm
practice. I did that free practice thing to check it out and thing like that. Very odd to see a basketball court on a football
Yeah,
field.
it
It
was it
doesn't
was interesting for sure.
doesn't seem right, but that place must have been rocking, huh?
Oh yeah, it was sold out. So you
That's
could think
awesome.
of 50,000 fans and all for one basketball game. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty sick. Yeah, no, that's got to be a cool atmosphere. A lot of fans, a lot of people there. There was a lot of people there too, even for freaking practice, and it only had half the
hmm
arena open too. So that was a pretty cool experience too, just for that. Let's get into the bracket, dude. We got 68 teams, 66 now because we are recording this on Tuesday night. North Carolina clinched their spot in the play-in, and Alabama State also clinched in their spot. So we have two teams in for their play-ins from the first four out. So as we go through, obviously there's going to be two picks if we do pick them that are up in the air. So you guys will
hmm
know who's in there, but obviously we don't right now. So we can make all the speculations there. But we'll start off today in the South Division. So how we're going to roll it today, we're going to go to each region, go from first round, second round, third, fourth, all the way up to who's going to win that region, and then move on to the next region. Have our final fours, pick our national championships from there, add all our little stuff here and there to help us out with why we're making our picks and things like that. So we're starting off in the South with the number one overall seed Auburn going up against number 16 Alabama State. This is an interesting matchup. I mean, Alabama State getting a Cinderella win already to start off March Madness, so that was impressive. A lot of fun to watch that one. But Auburn coming in as the number one overall seed. What do you see here, dude? Do you see any upset here?
No, not even close. Auburn. You'll see later in the bracket, but I think Auburn's all around solid. And they're gonna take it all the way. They're gonna go the distance for sure. Definitely don't see them getting out in the first two, 3 rounds. Definitely not.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think Auburn's going to do anything terrible in this game. They're a very talented team. They're a top team for a reason. They've been a top team all season long in the
hmm
SEC. So I think Auburn takes care of that. But of what I know from them, obviously, very talented team is what I said. Solid defense, but as what I could hear, Auburn is going to beat themselves up if they're going to lose anything. So I would not expect a lot of teams to beat Auburn. It's going to be Auburn beating themselves. So we're going to have to watch out for that. But obviously, I don't think they're going to beat up themselves in the 16 game. So I think Auburn, again, moves on very easily there. We got the next one, number 8, Louisville versus number 9, Creighton. I think it's a really good matchup. I think Louisville should not be an 8 seed. I think they should be a little bit higher, a little bit of the ACC not getting into there, yet they put
hmm
North Carolina as a play-in team. So I don't know where the committee is looking at with the ACC, but what do you think about this one?
I actually do have Creighton winning this one. They just over the past couple of games they have been a little shaky, but I don't think it's enough for them to not get by Louisville. Call it a minor upset, but that's who I have.
Yeah, I think this is a tough 8-9 matchup. I think it could go either way. Creighton really does have good basketball teams the last couple of years. They're always at the top when it comes to that. But Louisville, as I said earlier, I think they're not deserving of an 8. I think they should be higher than that. So for that reason, I'm giving them the bump into the win there. I think they're going to avoid the upset. Really close matchup. Would not be surprised to see the Blue Jays win this one. But looking at Creighton, I think that it's really just a toss-up game in my eyes for that. Next up, we got number 5, Michigan versus number 12, UC San Diego. And UC San Diego's first time being eligible in Division One basketball, first time eligible for this tournament, and they make it in winning the Big West. So huge milestones there for the program. But do you see them with the upset over the Wolverines here?
I see them making it. This is as far as they're going to get. I think it was a great season they had, a good ending. They only had two losses, I think, in their last 9 games. So fairly well into the season, but I don't think they have enough to get past Michigan. Michigan's a good team.
Yeah, for me, I like the history. I like the Cinderella stories a lot. I mean, who doesn't like a good Cinderella story? UC San Diego getting in with all the storylines, first year eligible, pretty awesome. Of what I know about Michigan, Michigan's a very large team, and UC San Diego does not turn over the ball a lot. So that could be a couple of standout things there. Could the
Things to
big
watch,
guys
yeah, for sure.
yeah, could the big guy step up for the Wolverines? Can the turnovers really be limited for UC San Diego? And if that's the case, turnovers are key with regardless in any sport. So that could be huge for the Tritons there. But for me, I got the upset here. I got the 12 upset. UC San Diego moving on. I just like the Cinderella story. I think there's going to be a lot on the line there for them. And Wolverines don't really have much to impress me besides their big win in conference tournament against Purdue. So I think UC San Diego could move on here. All right, next up, we got number 4, Texas A&M versus number 13, Yale. Personally, not a lot on my radar of either of these teams. But what do you got, dude?
Actually, I looked at their schedule, their last 9 games again, and it didn't do very well against in conference play. Texas A&M talking about. Um, yes, they played tough opponents. We got a win against Auburn, was their last game of the season. So that's something to look forward to. I don't think they should have much problem against Yale. But yeah, I just wanted to point out that they did squeak out a win against Auburn, and Auburn was sure #1 seed. So I have Texas A&M.
All right, yeah, I'm not going to add much more. I don't know much about Yale or A&M. Obviously, A&M in the SEC, got to give them a little bit more of a bump. They had 14 teams out of 16 in the conference making it into this tournament, which is actually the most of any conference ever in the
All
tournament
time.
history. So
Hmm.
that's impressive alone there. And A&M, I think, is not going to worry about the Bulldogs at all. So I think they move on, potentially meeting up Auburn again, and maybe even making it past them as well. So we could look for up for that matchup. But then we got up number 6 and 11. Number 6, Ole Miss, another SEC team, versus number 11, North Carolina, who just coming off a win earlier tonight. What do you got for this one, dude?
I got UNC. They're not usually a Cinderella team, but you'll see. I got UNC doing some crazy things. So yeah, I got UNC after this,
Yeah,
taking off Ole Miss.
North Carolina is a team very controversial. Should not be in it. Should they be in it? Quote unquote, only one quad one team win, and they lost twice to Duke, and one of them did not have Cooper Flag in that lineup, and they still lost to that Duke team. So that could be a lot of question marks there. But I'm with you here. I think Ole Miss is a good team, but I got North Carolina. You got to choose one of those play-in teams to kind of make it further in. And since we don't know who the other team is between Texas and Xavier, North Carolina, I think, could be that team that does make it a little bit further than the other 11 seeds. So I got North Carolina also winning this one as well. And then we got number 3, Iowa State versus number 14, Lipscomb. What do you got for this one, man?
Easy Iowa State. I don't really know much about Lipscomb, but Iowa State has a really good team. As long as they don't, overthink this game, I think they should get by Lipscomb pretty easily.
Yeah, so I know Iowa State a lot. I mean, obviously you know them pretty well too because Arizona State being in the conference, we follow Arizona State a lot here. So Iowa State I know pretty well. For Lipscomb, I had to look up a lot more research. Supposedly they make a lot of their shots. So big 3-point shooting team. They attempt 47% of their shots are 3-pointers. So there's going to be a lot of 3-point shots coming from Lipscomb, and they make about 36% of that. So if those start
Pretty good.
dropping, 3-point
Yeah,
shooting is going to be huge for Lipscomb. Can it work? It definitely can. But if you start going icy cold and Iowa State just starts hitting twos, game could
yeah,
get out of hand
it's
pretty
gonna get
quickly.
pretty fast. I will say
Um,
down the stretch, Iowa State did um in their conference play. They split a couple games with Arizona, um, got beat by Houston. So I think it'll be something to look forward to down the stretch if Lipscomb doesn't pull this one off. Just look at Iowa State a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah, a little inconsistency near the end of the season there. Also, Lipscomb gets 60% of their shots assisted, so there could be a lot of passing, could be a lot of movement with the ball there too for Lipscomb. So I like that a lot. And after looking at all that and knowing how kind of Iowa State, as you mentioned, is a little bit inconsistent near the end of the season, I got the upset here. I got the 14 seed beating the 3 Lipscomb
yeah.
in this one. We'll move on to number 7 Marquette versus number 10 New Mexico. What do you got for this one, man?
I got New Mexico. Marquette had probably one of the worst um like last 9 games down the stretch, only winning one of those. And they played some pretty good teams, but also not so good teams. So yeah, I don't think they're gonna get past UNM.
Yeah, for me, I only have two names here to mention. For New Mexico, Donovan Dent averages 20.6 points a game, second in the nation. So he's gonna be a player they're gonna be relying on a lot to win that game. And for Marquette, they said Ken Jones. He's a good player. I'm not too sure much about him, but I guess watch out for him. For Marquette, they actually haven't defeated a single digit team since 2013. So even if they make it past this one, there's history's not on their side to make it past the 2 seed if they have to face the 2 seed there. I got Marquette winning this one, but I could see it coming down to the wire, maybe an overtime game, last shot. I think New Mexico is always kind of that team that just seems to kind of hang in there with a lot of teams there too. But I got the 7 seed winning there. And the last one, we got number 2 versus number 15, Michigan State versus Bryant. Who do you got for this?
Yeah, I got Michigan State. Michigan State, another super high ranked team. Um, there's not really like one standout guy who really does everything for them, which just shows that they play a lot of good team ball. So yeah, I think Michigan State's going to squeak this one out.
Yeah, I got Michigan State too. I'm not gonna say much more besides Tom Izzo's a very good coach, and he's been there before. He knows how to get those teams rallied up. So I got the Spartans as well. All right, so for the top matchup of the next round, round of 32s in the South, you have Auburn versus Crane, correct?
Yes,
And who you got for that one?
I got Auburn.
Auburn. So you got the 1 seed moving on in that one. I got Auburn and Louisville. I got Auburn as well. I think we both stated in the beginning, Auburn's a very good team. They're not gonna really struggle in that one. Next up matchup for you. You got A&M and Michigan 4-5? Is that what you got?
Yes, 4-5. I have A&M taking that one.
Okay. Yeah, I got A&M too, but I got A&M versus number 12 San Diego, UC San Diego.
Yeah,
I think
UCSD.
it's a good storyline. It shouldn't make it past that, honestly. If it does,
Yeah.
awesome. I would love to see that, but realistically, I don't think it make it past that. So I got A&M as well. So we both have the 1 and 4s moving on. Next up, you got North Carolina and Iowa State, an 11 versus a 3. Who do you got moving on?
I got UNC.
UNC. Yeah, I actually
Yeah,
have
I
UNC
think
as well. Yeah.
they have a big enough chip on their shoulder. I think they're gonna if they're gonna make it this far, they're gonna keep going, keep dancing.
Yeah, I think they're going to prove all the haters wrong. And I'm actually one of those because I thought West Virginia, what they did this year, should be in their spot. But I think based off of how well they played against San Diego State, they blew them out of the water. I think they're going to roll through Ole Miss. They should be able to roll past Lipscomb if that is what is going to happen. And that is in my bracket. So I think the 11 beats the 14. North Carolina moves on and potentially faces up in a really good matchup against Michigan State. But for you, you got New Mexico at 10 seed versus number 2, Michigan State. Who do you got?
Uh, I have a UNM winning again.
Wow. Over
Yeah,
over Michigan
against
State.
over Michigan State. Yeah. Um, I just don't. I like. I'm a huge fan of big upsets, and I just think that when a team has a big enough chip on their shoulder and they make it that far, kind of like with ASU and the football, um, it's just like a why not us? And if you already have an upset,
Yeah.
keep going, Cinderella it on up.
All right. So you got the Lobos moving on. For me, I would have Marquette versus Michigan State. I got Michigan State moving on. I think that history of Marquette not being a single digit is going to haunt them
Definitely going to
a little
affect them
bit.
for sure.
So I think Michigan State moves on there pretty comfortably. No problem there. For the top of the bracket, we go back to the Sweet 16 now. 1 versus 4, Auburn versus A&M. Who you got?
Auburn again.
Auburn again. All right. For me, I got
Yeah.
A&M.
Okay.
So I think you mentioned it earlier. A&M did get that win earlier in the season
Hmm.
against Auburn. I think beating the same team twice is hard, but I
Super
think
hard for
Auburn
sure.
is going to put a lot out in this game. I don't think Alabama State's going to do too much physically against Auburn, but I think Louisville or Creighton actually will, and I think that's going to slow them down a little bit. And I think A&M's actually going to have an easier road, whether it is Michigan or UC San Diego, and they're going to be more prepared for that with that short turnaround. So I have A&M moving past them, even though you do have Auburn. And the next matchup, you have North Carolina 11 seed versus number 10, New Mexico. Who do you got moving on?
I have UNC again.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think that um, New Mexico will be hot after the Michigan State win, but I just think that UNC just is going to have a big enough chip on their shoulder, and they're going to keep on going.
Wow, very impressive. For me, I got North Carolina, Michigan State 11-2. I got to go Michigan State in that one. I think the luck does run out for the Tar Heels. They got that one extra game. I think it might come back to haunt them there. So I got Michigan State moving on, but I think that's a very possible matchup. I think we could see North Carolina get all the way to the Sweet 16, but only time will tell, obviously. So for the winner of your region, you have either number 4 Texas A&M or number 11 North Carolina. Who do you got moving on?
Yeah, I think like you said, the luck will run out. Um, I do think they will dance this hard, but Auburn's such a solidified team. I don't think they make it past. I do think they make it past UNC, so I got Auburn coming out.
All right. Yeah, for me, I got number 4 Texas A&M versus number 2 Michigan State. I got to go Tom Izzo. If he's got this point, I don't think he's going to slow down much more. So I got the Spartans. I'm not a huge Michigan State fan at all. Don't really care too much about him, but you got to respect the good coaching staff over there. And I think Izzo's going to get that team to that Final Four. So Michigan State's got the what is that? The South. They have the South for me. So.
Mhm.
So that wraps up the South. Any final comments from you that you did not include that you wanted to, or something like that?
No, I know I have a lot of controversy, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right, all right. Let's move on to the West. We'll start off at the top again. Number 1, Florida versus number 16, Norfolk State. Do we see the 16 upset here?
No, we do not. I do think there will be a 16 upset, but it won't be in this bracket.
Ooh, all right, little teaser. Stay tuned for that one. Yeah, I agree here. I don't think the 16 upset would be here if we're going to see a 16 upset at all. Of what I know from Florida, I haven't watched too much of them, but what I could take from them, they have 10 quad one wins against their opponents this season, which if you guys don't know what quad one wins are, it's kind of like top of the top line opponents. It's kind of hard to explain because it changes season after season, but it's just top of the top opponents. They had 10 wins against quad one opponents. They're a very fast team, some of the top guards in the country, so they have some depth there as well. And overall, supposedly have the most complete backdoor or back line in the nation. So take that with a grain of salt. This is what I've learned from ESPN, CBS Sports, articles I'm reading about on all these teams. But that is what I took away from Florida. So I think Florida is actually a very good team looking at what I know from them before looking at that. So I definitely think they're moving on with no problem here. And then we got the 8 and 9. Number 8, UConn versus number 9, Oklahoma. Who do you got for this one, man?
For sure have Oklahoma taking this one.
Wow, the Sooners taking down the back-to-back national champs in this one. Really?
Yeah, I just Jeremiah Fears, he's been doing a lot. I know they did not do very well down the stretch, ending out their season, but I do think they got a couple or about a week off, so I think they're gonna completely reset, get their heads right, be ready to take down, make history.
Right. I'll help you here. So history could be on your side for this one of what I found stat wise. So at large teams that finish at least 4 games under 500 in conference plays are 5-1 in the first round. In 2022, the 11 seed Iowa State became the only team to do so to reach the Sweet 16. This year, there's only 2 teams that are eligible for that. Texas is one. They got to do a play in against Xavier. Oklahoma is the other one. So Oklahoma could be that other team. 5-1 record against teams in the first round. So that history is on your side there for that one. So not maybe not the craziest pick we've seen today or we're going to see today. But for me, I got UConn. I think experience goes a long way. I think the UConn Huskies are going to get dethroned at some point. I just don't think it's going to be first round, but history is not on my side. Looking back at the UConn Huskies, they are 0-2 under Dan Hurley when being a 5 seed or worse, and they are an 8 seed in this one. So that's not looking good for me. Looking better for history for your side there. Obviously, those 8-9 seed games are very difficult to pick,
Hmm.
but I'm just going
Hmm.
with experience on this one. So I think the Huskies squeak it out, but man, it's gonna be a tough one for that matchup though.
There we go.
All right, next up, we got number 5, Memphis versus number 12, Colorado State. Who you got?
I'm gonna give you a little quick back-to-back pick. I'm gonna do Memphis and Maryland. Um, I just Memphis is a great team. I don't. They played a lot of good ball. Um, Colorado State. I just don't think they have enough of a good players that can really take dethrone Memphis. And then also same thing with Grand Canyon. Um, very whimsical ups and downs season. They lost against Arizona State, who's not that good. They also lost against UGA, who's been up and down this season. And
Yeah.
then their last 3 games are against a bunch of shitters. So I just don't think that they made it here without a play in, but I don't think it'll go past that.
Yeah, so I'll do the rapid fire here. So the 5-12, Memphis, Colorado State. I got the Rams in this one. PJ Haggerty does average the most points in the league for Memphis, 21.8 points per game. So they're gonna have to slow him down somehow. So it's gonna be very tough. But Memphis hasn't reached a Sweet 16 since 2009. Haven't been to the second weekend in 30 years, when being a 3rd seed or worse. So I'm gonna take history on that one. I think Memphis goes out early. And for Maryland, GCU, I think GCU had a better team last year. So for that reason,
Hmm.
I got Maryland, and I think the Big Ten is kind of underrated this year.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're up there as one of the top conferences, but everyone keeps talking about the SEC. The Big Ten's got some good depth too, and I think Maryland is going to prepare themselves pretty well. So I think Maryland also moves on in that one. We'll move on to 6, Missouri versus number 11, Drake. What do you got for this one, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Drake. Um, Ben, I did a little quick research. They have a shooter, and his name is Bennett Sturts or Stritz or something like that.
Okay.
Um, yeah, he knows how to knock down some shots. They also have a couple of big wins against some known opponents like the Vanderbilt and U Miami. So I think they will upset Missouri.
All right. For me, I got Missouri. I'm gonna go with the SEC depth there. They've seen a lot of good opponents this year. They probably could be a better than a 6 seed. Probably got some losses in there against some good teams that they probably could have kept close or gotten in there. But both teams have not done well the first round, so could be a toss up. Good history for both teams making in this tournament. So, but I got the 6 over the 11. Next matchup, we got number 3 Texas Tech versus number 14 UNC Wilmington. What do you got for this one?
I got Texas Tech. I had the opportunity to watch Texas Tech live, and we, I mean, it wasn't a very good team against ASU, but they absolutely pieced us apart, and their defenses was just insane. They were doubling like in the first half. So, um, I think if UNC Wilmington does catch fire, the Texas Tech defense will put that fire out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything more for me to add besides just watch out for the Texas Tech injuries that they're facing right now. A lot of tough injuries near the end of the season could be costly, but it's not going to cost them in this one. I also have Tech moving on. Next, we got number 7, Kansas, and number 10, Arkansas. This might be one of my most favorite matchups out of all the round of 64s. I love this matchup a lot. Kansas being a 7 seed does not seem right. And then you get Calipari bringing Arkansas back from a very bad start of the year to a 10 seed into this bracket. Who knows? Maybe him, and the Razorbacks can make a good run. But what do you got for this one?
Yeah, I don't. This is one pick where every time I look at my bracket, I think it should be one or the other. But for the sake of the podcast, I think I'm going to take Arkansas here. Like you said, they had a very rough beginning to the season, but they didn't play that bad basketball coming down the stretch. So I'm going to take Arkansas, and we're going to rock with it.
Yeah,
They
all right.
kept it tight. They kept it tight against Auburn too. They only lost by 7.
Yeah, so you make a great point. It's like they do a lot of stuff near the end of the year that makes me very excited. And when you look at this matchup, I could go either way. Like I'm looking at it right now. Right now, I have Kansas. I have Kansas winning for the sake of the podcast. But I think I have, as of right now, the recording, I have 14 brackets made right now, and it's probably split 7-7 on Kansas and Arkansas. I think it straight up could go either way. I think this could be like an 8-9 seed game. So I think either way could go. I got the Kansas Jayhawks in this one, but I would not be surprised to see Arkansas win this game with the experience of Coach Calipari at the helm there. So we could see a 10 upset here, and I would not be very surprised. Last matchup for the round of 64 is in the West. We got number 2, St. John's versus number 15, Omaha. Do you see a 15 seed upset here, dude?
I don't. I'm not gonna lie. Omaha has I haven't really played like anybody shocking, and if they did play, what ESPN said was a very like whimsical game. They didn't keep it tight and they lost. So for that, and St. John's is St. John's. Like I don't think they'll get dethroned this early if they ever get dethroned. So I'm definitely gonna take St. John's.
Yeah, for St. John's, it's Rick Pitino's sixth team making the tournament. He's trying to make it past that first round. I think the would be the first coach to make the round of 32s. If I got that incorrect, I'd correct myself on the screen there. So St. John's is the real deal this year. I mean, they're a really good team. But I actually got the 15 upset here. I got Omaha. So
Wow.
history says a 15 seed has won the first round games in 3 of the past 4 years. So obviously, it seems like you got to pick at least one 15 seed. And each of those teams have reached the Sweet 16s. So that's a little spoiler there. I also have Omaha beating number 7 Kansas and at that case. The three teams previously to do it: Princeton in 2023, St. Peter's in 2022. They also made the Elite Eight that year, and Oral Roberts in 2021. And 9 of those 11, 15 seeds won the first round in the top two of the conference standings when the season ended. And this year, there's three teams eligible. It's either Bryant, Omaha, and Robert Morris. And out of all those teams going against the two seeds, I think Omaha might have the best chance because I could see St. John's getting too blinded by the lights, a lot of expectations on them, and they just crumble in the first round. So I got the Mavericks in this one. It's a wild pick, but I'm gonna take that little history buff there, and get the Mavericks a move on there.
Yeah. Did you mention Warford in the as a 15th seed?
The 15 seeds that for this upcoming season,
Hmm.
it was Bryant, Robert Morris, and Omaha. So Wofford or Wolford. I'm not even sure how to say it. I think it's Wofford.
Warford.
Was the only team that was not eligible of that history, but it still
Got it.
obviously could
Okay. Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
They would have to face Tennessee. Robert Morris has Alabama, and Bryant has Michigan State. So of
Right. Yeah.
those four teams, I just think St. John's could be the
That's
only
so true.
one that gets upset here. That's what I got there. We'll move on to round of 32s. You have number 1 Florida and number 9 Oklahoma. What do you got moving on?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Florida here. I do think Oklahoma will get two in their head about beating UConn, and Florida has such a good team. I don't think they're gonna choke this early, especially against Oklahoma.
Yeah, so I had number 1 Florida versus number 8 UConn. I think this is where UConn runs out of steam here. I think Florida is a very complete team by the looks of it. UConn has just they've been up and down. They've lost to Creighton this year, and Creighton is a good team, but they're not a normal UConn looking team from the past 2 years. So I think UConn's run ends in the round of 32s, and the Gators move on pretty easily too. Next up, you got Memphis at the 5 seed versus number 4 Maryland. Who do you got moving on?
I got Maryland.
Yeah, hey, same thing here. I got number 12 Colorado State instead playing them, but I got Maryland moving on.
Yeah,
Really not much more to
yeah.
say
There's not
there.
much to say.
Number 6 Missouri versus number 3 Texas Tech is what I got, but you got number 11 Drake versus number 3 Texas Tech. Who do you got moving on?
I do think I'm gonna take Drake again. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I think that Texas Tech is gonna be coming off UNC Wilmington. And if all goes as I predicted, if they beat Missouri, I don't think they'll be so on fire and so like David and Goliath like that. I don't think that Texas Tech will affect them very much.
Wow, okay. I have number 6, Missouri. So we both actually have Texas Tech losing in this round, regardless of who it is. But I will say Drake has not won a first round game in the modern era. They're 0-4. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. But
Hey, this is where legends are made.
history could always change here. Drake could make a good run, but regardless, we both have Texas Tech losing in the round of 32s. The last matchup, you got number 10 Arkansas versus number 2 St. John's. I got number 7 Kansas versus number 15 Omaha. So the complete opposite matchups here. But for your matchup, what do we have?
I actually want to hear what your matchup is going to be. I want to hear what you guys say.
So I got Kansas, Omaha, and I think based off of if Omaha is able to get past number 2 St. John's, they're going to be running on absolute fumes. I could see this team being a St. Peter's team as well,
Hmm.
kind of like that Cinderella run with them. Kansas has been pretty solid overall, but has been a worse Iowa State performance team, if that makes sense. They've been a little bit
Hmm.
more inconsistent than Iowa State, not the normal Kansas teams that we've seen. This is the lowest seed that they've had since 2000. And each of the past 5 times that they were not a number 1 seed, they lost in the second round, which is the round of 32. So I'm going to take history for this one as well. Based off a lot of my research, I used a lot of history buff on this one when it came to the sports look. And I think Kansas history not on their side. Inconsistency. That Arkansas game is going to be a very tough game to win. So even if they don't make it past that one, Arkansas is going to have a tough time trying to beat a St. John's team. And I think it's just safe to say that that 215 game is going to move on regardless. So I have Omaha moving on.
Very interesting to say the least. I think St. John's is going to take care of Arkansas, regardless of how hot Arkansas is after beating Kansas. I still think it's a close in rank in seeding, Arkansas and Kansas, but I don't think St. John's will have too many problems um, going against Arkansas.
All right. Then we head to the Sweet 16. You have number 1 Florida versus what did you have number 5 Memphis, number 4 Maryland? I think you had Maryland, right?
I had Maryland, yeah.
All right, number 4 Maryland, number 1 Florida. Who do you have moving on?
Yeah, I try not to pick the one seed all the way through, but Florida is my favorite team coming out of um, the whole tournament. So I do think it'll be Florida against Drake. I'm gonna go ahead and give you that pick too.
Woohoo,
Um,
Drake!
I
Love
have
to
Drake
see
being a
it.
little bit of a little bit of a Cinderella, but I don't think I think the glory will stop there with Drake, and Florida will take it into and have a 1v1 in the Final Four. So I gave you like three picks right there.
All right. So I'll finish off my bracket too. So I had the same matchup, Florida versus Maryland. I got Florida moving on. I think they're the most complete team of this region. And then I have Missouri, Omaha, 6-15. I got Omaha moving on again. I think that's gonna be my Drake team. So you got Drake, the 11 seed, going on to face Florida. I got number 15, Omaha, facing Florida. I think both um are very possible and plausible, but I also got Florida moving on out of this region. So I got my first number 1 seed out of their region as well. So they would face Michigan State for me, where you would have
Auburn.
Auburn. So you'd have two
Hmm.
number ones going up against each other as of right now. Man, this is seeing Drake and seeing Omaha go that deep, I think would be a lot of fun. I think that'd be amazing, good storyline to see for sure though. Let's head to the Midwest now. We'll start off with number 1, Houston versus number 16, Southern Indiana, Edwardsville. What a mouthful there. 116. Do we see the 16 seed here getting the upset?
No, we do not. We do not see the 16 seed. There's not much to say. I'm not gonna lie. Houston's another very, very stacked team. I don't think they will choke right here.
Yeah, they have one loss in Big 12 play all season long. They're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country. Yet they have not made it past the Sweet 16s in a long time. I don't think the 16 seed is going to slow them down anytime soon. So I got Houston moving on as well. And then we know number 8, Gonzaga versus number 9, Georgia. You're the big Georgia Bulldog fan. Do you see Georgia winning their first conference game in 23 years?
I do think so. I think Georgia will get it by Gonzaga. Um, ASU played Gonzaga this year. They did not do very well. They barely squeaked out a win,
That was a good
and
game.
it was
That
a
was a
very good game.
really good game.
ASU is not that good either. Excuse me. Also looking at their most notable matchups, they have a few losses against like UConn, Kentucky. I just don't think they have the squad like they've had in previous years, and I just think Georgia is kind of hot right now. They finished the season. They didn't do too well in the SEC tournament, but they finished the season pretty well. So yeah, I do think they get it by. They had very, very close games. First off, they beat Florida, had an extremely close game back in January against Auburn. So yeah, I think they're here to play.
All right, yeah, for me, I got Gonzaga moving on. I'm going based off of recency bias, I think, just because Gonzaga's been what, Sweet
Here
16s,
before.
Elite Eights, pretty much every other year practically. I don't know if they're going to be able to get past Houston, but for the sake of just this pick, I don't really know too much about Georgia's game. I think Gonzaga has enough to get past them, and I think they'll be the kings of the Bulldogs for this game. So, sorry about that pick, man. Next up, we got number 5, Clemson versus number 12, McNeese. McNeese could be a sneaky pick
Yeah,
for a lot of teams or for a lot of people making brackets, but can you see McNeese getting past this one?
I certainly can. I actually
Wow,
have
all
them.
right.
Yeah, beating Clemson. Um, I know Clemson was in the Elite Eight last year, if I'm not mistaken, but
Yep.
a lot of folks moved on. Either graduated or went to, I think one of them went to the G League, if I'm not mistaken. But I just don't think that they have the same squad as they did last year, and McNeese will complete the upset.
Yeah, I know. I think this is a good toss-up game. I know it's a 5-12, but I think it could be a very split game between picks. The only thing is, if Clemson loses, I will be very surprised because I got Clemson moving on very far in my bracket. So I got Clemson winning this one. I actually got Clemson moving past the next game too, so I won't spoil who they're
Wow.
playing. So it's going to be tough if Clemson loses that first game, but honestly, I would not be surprised to see what are they, the Cowboys? The Cowboys move on past the Tigers in that one. For the next game though, is number 4 Purdue versus number 13 High Point. Personally, I know nothing about High Point, and I'm going to get out of the way. I got Purdue moving on.
Yeah,
Just
same here. Purdue,
okay.
straight up.
All right. Yeah, we'll move on to the next one. Number 6, Illinois versus number 11 playing game, either Texas or Xavier. A lot of people are saying Texas is going to win that game. I personally think Texas is going to win that game, so I'm picking it as if Texas is playing in that game. But for you, what do you got?
I was actually going to give you a little bit of a double pick. I think Texas will win that game, and I think Texas will beat the Fighting Illini as well.
Same here, dude. Same here.
There you
Let's
go.
move on. All right, number 3, Kentucky versus number 14, Troy. What do you got for this?
I got. Ooh, this one it was very hard to choose. I think I'm going to take Troy though.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just don't think that UK has had the team that they have. They've gotten blown out by the big SEC teams, and for that reason, I just think Troy's going to have a bigger enough chip on their shoulder. They're beat them.
Okay, so I don't know too much about Troy either. I mean, obviously everybody knows what Kentucky could do year in, year out. Um, so Troy, I kind of avoided them. I got Kentucky in this one. I don't think I'm going to see an upset here. Tough look though for the 14 seeds the last couple of tournaments. Since 2017, they've only had 2 first round wins, which is tied for the fewest of any seed in a 7 tournament span during the modern era. So not good looks there, but maybe Troy impresses and is able to get past. I don't know anything about Troy, so I just try to avoid them as much as possible for my picks. But who knows? I mean, it's March Madness. It's madness. It can
Anything is
happen.
possible. Anything can happen. Yep.
The last one for the round of 62 or 64 for the Midwest, we got number 2 Tennessee versus number 15 Wofford. What do you got?
We actually skipped UCLA, Utah State, but I will give you that pick.
Oh
I'm going to
yeah.
take
All right.
Utah State there. Um, I did a little research. Ian Martinez, he's a very good complete hooper. I do think he's gonna put the team on his back and take on UCLA and beat the Bruins. And then I also have Tennessee beating Wofford, whatever it is, waffle fries, Chick-fil-A, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I think they will get it done against them.
All right. Yeah, that's my bad. Number 7, UCLA. Number 10, Utah State. You got the 10 over the 7. I got the 7 over the 10. I think the Bruins move past. I'm going to go with just how well they've played under Coach Mick Cronin. He's done very well with that squad. With under Cronin, they have reached the second week of the tournament play in all three previous trips while he's coached. They've lost the Sweet 16 twice and the Final Four once. That Final Four run was amazing to watch. Really tough loss to Gonzaga that year. So I got UCLA moving on past Utah State. The bad thing is they're going to have to score a lot of points because Utah State averages 81 points per game, which is probably one of the top teams in the country when it comes to complete offense. So that's going to be a tough one. But they stopped a 9-game losing streak last year against TCU. Could we see the beginning of a 9-game losing streak for the Aggies there? I think we do. For Tennessee, Wofford, I don't see the 15 upset here. I think Tennessee rolls past them pretty easily. All right, then we head to the round of 32s. You had number 1 Houston versus number 9 Georgia. Do your dogs make it past the Cougs?
I really do want to put the dogs past the Cougars. I don't know if I want to do it now, but for the sake of the podcast, I will say they will.
All right.
Um,
All
yeah,
right. You love to see it.
let's let's shake things up for sure. And then because I'm so excited for this matchup, I'm gonna go ahead and give you my next one too. I'm gonna say McNeese beats Purdue, and we're gonna have McNeese and
Wow.
Georgia, and we're gonna have a little old fashioned Duke. Go ahead and set it off. Yeah, let's do it.
Wow. Okay. So we have the 9 over the 1 with Georgia there, and we got the 12 over the 4 with the Cowboys there. So really big picks there. For me, I got number 1 Houston versus number 8 Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga's time runs out here. They're not as complete as we normally see Gonzaga. Houston's a very good team this year. They were dominated conference play. I don't think they're going to slow down much against Gonzaga. They move on easily. Then next, I got Clemson and Purdue. I'm going to base it off of what they did last year and think they're going to be able to run it back with the same coach there. They're able to get past Purdue based off what Purdue's done the last, what, 2 or 3 years. They're going out
Yeah,
way earlier than they
Purdue's pretty
should.
good. Yeah,
So I
I'm not
think
gonna lie.
Purdue is going to lose in that game,
Is he gonna
regardless.
lose? Oh wow. Okay, yeah. So we're about the same. I do think I really loved last year's run with Purdue. Big Zach Edey.
Yeah.
Um, that was one of the best matchups I think in Final Four history. Zach Edey and what was his name? Brian Burns, I think it was. What
Yeah, I
was his
think you're
name?
right. Yeah.
Brian Burns. Yeah, that was a very great game.
Yeah.
With that said, though, moving on, I will take. I think if Troy cuts out Texas's work and beats Kentucky, then I think Texas will have a big enough confidence boost and able to beat Troy and move on to the Sweet 16.
Wow. Okay. So you got the 11 over the 14, and they'll be facing who? You got number 10, Utah State, number 2, Tennessee. Who do you got for that one then?
To Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay, so you got a little bit of chalk there with that is actually a really good pick though, because Tennessee's a very good team this year. For me, for that bottom, I got 11 Texas versus number 3 Kentucky. I got Kentucky moving on. Number 7 UCLA versus number 2 Tennessee. I got Tennessee moving on. I went chalk for that one. It doesn't seem very fun and exciting, but I just don't see UCLA moving it
Too much
past that.
shakeup.
Yeah, you kind of got to go realistic. You can't go Cinderella stories all the time here. And I think the Midwest is going to be a little bit more of a chalky conference or a region as a whole. So I got the 3-2 beating up each other. But for you, top of the bracket, you got number 9 Gonzaga against you said number 12 McNeese and number 4 Purdue. I can't remember now.
I have Georgia and McNeese.
All right.
So I do think McNeese will Cinderella all the way and go off against Tennessee, but I don't. I think it stops right there. I think Tennessee is very complete, and I don't think too much will happen after that. So the Cinderella will end for McNeese, just like it did for Drake, and we're gonna have a 1-1-2. This is what it's looking like. Final four for me right now.
Wow. Okay. So for me, I got number 1 Houston, number 5 Clemson. I got Clemson moving on. Then you got number 3 Kentucky versus number 2 Tennessee. I got number 2 Tennessee moving on, giving me the Tigers Volunteers, an all orange matchup for that one. And I got Clemson moving on. So I got Clemson out of this region, a number 5 seed getting into there. So you got a number 2 seed. Tennessee, I got number 5 Clemson in that one, but I definitely think that is definitely going to be a top 5 seed making out of that region for sure. Any final comments from the Midwest before we move on to the East?
No, not too much. I'd love to see my dogs do it, but I don't think they will. But I'm very excited to make this next pick. If you guys remember and stayed tuned all the way through, I did say that there will be a 16th rank upset in the very first round. And with that said, I do think um, it will be in this, and they will be Duke.
Does it matter who they're going to face? It's either
I
American or Mount St. Mary's. You don't think it
Nope.
matters?
I do think it'll be Mount St. Mary's, but regardless of who makes it here, I do think they will be Duke.
Wow. Okay.
Cooper Flag's coming off the injury. I don't. We still don't know if he's going to play or not. I'm sure they'll try to
True.
juice him up to make sure he does play. But Duke without Cooper Flag is not a very good team. I think they are a good team collectively, but without Cooper Flag, he's really the flagship player for that whole team. Yeah, I don't think Duke will. They're going to be too shaken up. My light's going to be too bright. They're not going to make it.
Interesting. For me, I'm not that crazy. I can't go 16. I'd rather lose that game than choose the 16 there. So I got Duke moving on. I think Flag's injury could really impact this team, meaning that I actually don't think Flag is going to play first round of this tournament. I could see him sitting him out and really just basing it off of, hey, we got the guys. Let's get past this round. Let's get to the round of 32s. Let Flag rest that ankle one more round because I think that next matchup is going to be a lot tougher. So I think sitting them out for that 16 game could be the key to victory there, and definitely moving on past the round of 32s. But I guess only time will tell. But it would be the third team to beat a number one seed as a 16. I think out of all the one seeds, I definitely think that is probably the most vulnerable team, though. I think you're right there, though.
Yes,
Uh,
um for the next game, I think I'm going to take Mississippi State though. Baylor just did not show enough complete teamwork as they've played a lot of notable matchups, and yeah, I just think Mississippi State's going to take it.
yeah, so number eight, Mississippi State, number nine, Baylor. I got Baylor in that one. I'm just going off of just Big 12 conference, kind of roll with the Big 12 there. So, but spoiler alert, I don't have a moving past Duke. So, regardless, either team I think was going to lose to Duke if they have to face Duke. But I have Baylor in that matchup. But next up, we got number five, Oregon, number 12, Liberty. Who do you got for this one?
I'm going to take Oregon. I don't think
No wacky religion school for you?
no, I'm sorry. Uh, True Smash Mouth. Their football team completely sold, and I think the basketball team is gonna say, you know what, damn it, well, I guess we'll do it ourselves, and they're gonna beat Liberty.
All right. So Oregon actually has never won a first round game under their current head coach, Dana Altman. And I think that's actually going to come back to hurt them. I got the Flames in this one, the 12-5 upset. I think Liberty moves past. Next up, we got number
Wow.
four, Arizona versus number 13, Akron. I'm going to say it right out of the gate. Arizona is not a very good team as normal Arizona teams. They played better near
Mhm.
the second half of the season for sure, but I got Akron moving on. I can't go with the Wildcats. They've upset too many times in the early stages. I'd rather just get them out of the way now.
Yeah, I do think Caleb Love is a really outstanding player. Excuse me, but I don't think Akron. I mean, I don't think Arizona will beat Akron, and I will say that will be their upset.
All right. Number six, BYU versus number 11, VCU. Who do you got for this?
Um, I'm not quite sure. Actually, no, I'm gonna take BYU. Um, I just don't think VCU has played enough of good opponents over the course of the season. They did have a big game against U Miami way early in the season, but I just don't think they have played enough. BYU is going to give them hell. So yeah.
Yeah, same here. I don't think the 11 will upset the six. VCU does not have very good history in this tournament. Only one win in the past 10 tournaments for the Rams. The only time they won multiple games was back in 2011 when they went from the first four to the final four. So that was definitely a magical run for the Rams that season. But it seems like VCU is always in this tournament, and yet they never seem to get past that first round. Yet they're always one of those teams that people seem to pick for upsets. So I'm kind of tired of picking them for upsets and not getting their chance there. So I got the other wacky religion school of BYU in that one. Next up, we got number three, Wisconsin. Number 14, Montana. Do you see the 14 upset here?
No, I have Wisconsin. Wisconsin absolutely clapped Arizona in the beginning of the season, and they got something good going. I like John Tonji, Tonji, I think is how you say it. He's played some really good basketball this season and averaging like 19 points per game. Yeah, I don't think they Montana will do much against them.
Yeah, I'm not going to add too much more. I think Wisconsin moves past this one. I will say Wisconsin has had trouble with 11 and 12 seeds in three of the past four tournaments. They have been knocked out by an 11 or a 12. This is a 14 seed. So obviously, history on their side there to not lose this game. But you said it perfectly. Wisconsin's a very good team. I got them as well. Number seven, St. Mary's. Number 10, Vanderbilt. Who you got for this?
Um, this is not a very hard pick. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna take St. Mary's. They played Gonzaga three times. They beat them twice. And they had kind of close games. They kept it pretty tight against Utah State as well. So yeah, I'm gonna take St. Mary's.
Yeah, I got St. Mary's as well. St. Mary's seems to be that team that seems to always be very competitive against Gonzaga, and they've gotten better as recent years have gone by, and definitely in the tournament play. I don't think Vanderbilt has enough there to beat the Gale, so I got St. Mary's as well. The last one for the round of 64s as a whole, number two, Alabama versus number 15, Robert Morris. Robert Morris does have history on their side from earlier that we mentioned. Do they get the upset here against the Tide?
Ooh, this one's tough because Alabama did not finish very well as people thought they were going to finish. Um, I'm here for the shits and the gigs. So let's say Robert Morris,
All right,
inclusive with history.
Robert Morris for him. You got the 15-2. I got number two, Alabama in this one. I don't think the Tide will lose that game. Yeah, you do mention that they didn't end the season off very well, but I think Alabama will be fine against Robert Morris there. So, and Robert Morris is a hockey school, so I don't really think basketball is going to get it done for them. All right, we head back to the top of the region here. You got the number 16 seed, which you think is going to be Mount St. Mary's against the number 8 Mississippi State. Who you got for that?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Mississippi State. I think all that high is gonna come down. The media is gonna get to them, and they're just not gonna be able to keep it going. They're not supposed to be there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Mississippi State.
All right, for me, I got number one Duke versus number nine Baylor. I think Duke wins this one. I think Cooper Flag actually gets back in this game. I think that will sit him out that first round of 64 game, bring him back for round of 32s, and he'll help the Blue Devils there. Maybe they won't need him that much based off of what they did in the first round, but I think the Blue Devils, regardless, get past Baylor or Mississippi State. In my bracket, I have them past Baylor. The next matchup, you got number five Oregon versus number 13 Akron, correct?
I have yeah, Oregon, Akron. I have this one's tough. I'm not gonna lie because I have them beating Arizona. Do I think it's enough to get them by Oregon? I'm not gonna lie. I don't think it's enough. I'm gonna have Oregon beating Akron, and yeah,
All right, I got number 12 Liberty, number 13 Akron for that one. So I got the two upsets going up against each other. I think I'll just take the higher of the seeding here. I'm gonna go Liberty for that one. Then we got number six BYU versus number three Wisconsin for both of our brackets. But who do you got?
I have Wisconsin. I think they're gonna be. They weren't a one or two seed, but I think they are the most complete non one or two seed, and I have them winning against BYU.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm not going to add anything more there. I got Wisconsin as well. And the last one, we both have number seven St. Mary's and number two Alabama. What do we got?
Actually, I don't have Alabama. I have Alabama choking
Oh,
the
that's right.
first,
My bad. Yep,
and I
that's
have
my
St.
bad.
Mary's beating Robert Morris. So I have Wisconsin, St. Mary's. Um, but yeah, I think Wisconsin will make it out of St. Mary's. Um, and yeah, I don't think they'll have too much trouble once they get by BYU.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, I have Wisconsin winning theirs. St. Mary's, Alabama for me. I got Alabama going in. So I got the chalk 2-3, and I got Alabama going past Wisconsin. So even though we have a lot of speculations about Alabama and what they're gonna do, based off of what they're recently doing, I'm gonna take my chances. I'm gonna have the Tide going on to the Elite 8. And then we facing Duke for me. So I had Duke Liberty. If Liberty gets that far, surprise, surprise, but I think Duke will take care of that. And I'll have the chalk 1-2 for the Elite Eight. But what do you got?
I'm gonna take Mississippi State. I think if they go this far, um, why not them? I think they're gonna keep dancing, beating out Wisconsin. If they do beat Wisconsin, it'll be like um, 72, 73, and then guy 2 seconds left throws up a Hail Mary and shit goes in. I don't think it'll be like a flat out win. It'll definitely be like a no way type of
Yeah.
win. But yeah, but
Yeah, we'll
yeah, I
see
do
at
think
least two or
Mississippi
three of
State will
those.
make it. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so you got Mississippi State. Then who do you got making it out of the region? Who's winning the region?
Um, I said Mississippi State, so I have
Oh, my bad.
yeah, Mississippi State. So my final four right now is Auburn, Florida, Mississippi State, Tennessee.
All right, I got Duke making it out of the region, so my second number one seed. So then I got Michigan State and Florida a 2-1 versus on the other side we got Duke and Clemson a 1-5. So for
Five.
the final four, say your matchups. Who you got for both sides?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Florida, being out Auburn. Um, I just think they're bigger, more complete team, more skilled and physical. And then I'm gonna have Mississippi State handling Tennessee. Not too much on that. I just think they're gonna keep it going,
Why
make it
not?
all the way through. Um, and then anything can happen in the championship. Championship, I find, is the hardest pick to predict, because if you make it this far, it's really anyone's game, truly.
Yeah.
So, but for that reason, I think I will stick with Florida. Um, but if Mississippi State does make it this far and does win, it'll be another no way type of win.
If that is the matchup at the end, we get SEC, Florida, Mississippi State. Regardless if you have Florida, I think we're all going to be rooting for Mississippi State.
Hmm.
Unless you're a Gator fan, I think
Yeah,
everybody's going to be rooting for that 8 seed to freaking win a national championship. I think that'd be amazing. That'd be awesome to watch, and just to say like, yeah, I'm the one that picked Mississippi State to win it all or get to that point. That'd be pretty cool. So I'm rooting for you to get that Mississippi State pick in there. Definitely because I think that'd be a lot of fun to watch.
there we go.
So for my final four, number two, Mississippi State. Number one, Florida. We mentioned it multiple times. Florida moves on national champions to the national championship game. Excuse me. They're one of the most complete teams. They got a most dominant SEC conference performances all season long. Mississippi or Michigan State very good. Would have had to gone through a lot of tough teams, regardless of if my bracket was 100% correct or not. Just the chalk outline of the South is tough alone. So, Michigan State should be proud of themselves if they get to that point and lose. But I got Florida moving on. On the other side, you got number one Duke, number five Clemson. Clemson helping out the ACC again, getting to this point to the Final Four. NC State should not have made it that far last year as an 11 seed. Clemson maybe should not make it that far as a 5 seed. But I think it helps out the ACC a lot when it goes in the next year. So we got the ACC matchup between them and Duke. I got Duke moving on though. I think Cooper Flag, if they got to this point, is probably healthy enough to help out his team to get to a national championship game. So I have unfortunately a 1-1 matchup in the national championship, which never happens, but it's hard not to pick a 1-1 matchup when you're
Yeah,
going through
it
these
is.
brackets. So I have Duke and Florida in San Antonio for the final matchup. But for you, who do you have winning? You said Florida, right?
I had Florida. Yeah,
So you had Florida. Shockingly, I did not go with Florida, even though I have praised up this whole podcast. I got Duke winning it all. I think Duke has a chance to pretty much do something with Cooper Flag to be very impressive, to be one of those teams that like you don't expect them to get it that far because of the injuries, but their complete team, their team is going to revolve around not having Flag for maybe that first game or at 100%. So they're definitely going to step up big for him. So I think because of all that, those storylines there, I think Duke wins the national championship for me in a tough matchup though against Florida. I think it could be comes down to the last shot if those two are facing off against each other.
and there we go. pretty excited with my pick. Um, but yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Any final comments from your bracket, March Madness? Anything you want to see? Anything you expect to see coming up this season for the March Madness bracket?
I want to see at least three upsets. Um, at least three upsets, and I want to see a number one getting taken down by someone they shouldn't have. At least a 1, 2, 3 getting taken down by someone they shouldn't have. Um, and then give me give me four, five. No, give me five buzzer beater winners or forcing to OT buzzer beaters combined. I'll take five. Five would be great.
Wow, I like that a lot. I think the five buzzer beater upsets to either force overtime or win the game would be a lot of fun. So I wanted to see that as well. I like your also pick of the one of the top three seeds in the region going down earlier than expected. But I mainly want to see a double digit seed get into the Elite Eight. I
Mm.
think I think that would be fun. I mean, I have Omaha getting there, so I don't know if that is the right team to do it. I mean, there's a lot of double digit seeds out here. North Carolina is capable of doing it. Texas technically could get there, so themselves into that spot too. So that's my hope. I hope we get a double digit seed in the Elite Eight, and we get a lot of buzzer beaters to force overtime or win the game as a whole. So that's my hope for March Madness.
One more thing too, I do want to see someone absolutely steal the show, uh, and not from like a top five team. Last year I forgot his name. His name was like Ginkle or something like that.
From
Hit a ton
Oakland,
of
right?
threes. Yeah,
Yeah, that kid was
yeah, like the Oakland
outstanding.
Bears or something. Give me another story like him. Would be
Yeah,
absolutely great too.
yeah, I want to see
Just
somebody's
giving
name like
top
that.
teams hell. Didn't know how to play against him. Probably had zero scouting report. Yeah, I want to see at least one of those guys. That'd be great.
That will wrap it up for this episode. 149 episodes in the books. We appreciate you guys listening to this one. If you stuck around this far, we appreciate you even more. Make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, the bell icon so you guys are notified when these episodes do drop. New episodes, weekly episodes for sports news when it comes to pros. I changed it up. We got 2 episodes a week, hopefully. Pros and college news, 2 separate videos. So make sure you guys hit the bell icons so you guys are notified when those 2 separate videos do drop. They also are on audio for you Spotify and Apple Podcasts listeners. But we appreciate you guys listening, and make sure you guys watch as much March Madness as possible. Take time off of work. Who cares? It's March Madness. Anything could happen. You guys want to witness history just like Keenan and I. So we appreciate you guys sticking around with us. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Have an awesome rest of your weekend.